What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Investing Bros live show. It is the day before the Bitcoin conference. Last one I'm shooting here in Atlanta, Georgia. Then we will be tomorrow in Nashville, Tennessee. We will be going live from the conference center itself. But first, today we got to break down what's happening in crypto. And in the last pretty much 30 minutes, we had watched crypto kind of stay at the same place for a long period of time, and things are dipping. Support levels are being challenged right now for crypto, but you know what is going to happen? Whether we have a big move to the upside or downside, what happened next will be very explosive. You need to be prepared because the markets are about to make a big move. We've been ranging for the last couple of days. That only happens right before the largest pumps or the largest dumps. The question, though, is which one is coming, and we're going to talk about that in today's show. So make sure you smash that like button and hit subscribe. Yesterday, we hit a like goal, and it absolutely helped YouTube. Tell the YouTube algorithm, hey, this channel is legit. We got to let people watch this channel. So help us out. Smash that like button early. Stick around to the end of the show. But first, we got to roll our intro. Well, T Shroom, where are you right now?
Tim, I am in your kitchen. Where are you?
I thought it looked familiar. That gather sign up there behind you there. Yeah, I'm sitting up in my office, but again, not large enough for the both of us. Kind of like that's a quote from Toy Story, everybody. I guess that makes me Woody and you Buzz Lightyear. This
right.
set is not big enough for the both of us. For the two. Oh, wait, was that Buzz Lightyear that said that? Am I Buzz Lightyear?
I think so.
I can't remember which one said it. Man, it's been a minute since I watched Toy Story. You got to stay up on your Toy Story information, everybody. That's key. Today, well, first of all, Tisha, I asked you where you were. How are you doing? How are you doing today?
Tim, I'm doing better than your headphones. What looks like perfectly normal headphones on Tim's head, it has been revealed to me that they are not normal headphones, as you can see there. Thank you, Tim, for playing along. We need to drop a one in chat if you think Tim needs to get new headphones. I think we can splurge. We've been doing well there at the Bros.
We run a tight ship here at Investing Bros. Not a single penny is out of line, and that's the way that we want our government to work. I'm just trying to set a good example for governments worldwide that, you know what? Yeah, is this detached? Is there a little donut thing over here that really shouldn't be? But does it work? Bruh. It does work. It's comfortable. Nobody knew until you said anything about it, and now our information is out there. All right. It is what it is.
That's good.
Let's go ahead, though. It's going to be a shorter show today. Literally, when we end the show today, guys, I'm going to be throwing stuff into the car. T-Shroom and I are going to be riding up the road to Nashville. For those who will be there, we'll see you guys tomorrow morning. But it is going to be a little bit shorter of a show, but we want to make sure to dive into what's happening in the crypto space. So let's go ahead and take a look at the bubbles, T-Shroom, and then we'll jump into the charts. Look at this crystal clear Wi-Fi. I just want to point out, T-Shroom, you're streaming off of Wi-Fi in my house, and it's looking very beautiful so far. I hope I didn't just jinx it, but it's looking good so far. Big movers today. Looks like Flow up 12%. This was, again, an hour ago, much larger, but we've had a dip. If you were to look at the hourly bubbles, a lot of red. A lot of red in the hourly bubbles, but still got some green here on the daily chart. ENA, Athena is doing pretty well. Jupiter's doing well. Tau's doing well. Jasmine's doing well. Ondo, 1% right there, so nothing crazy. Pith is doing pretty well, up 6.7%. XRP also, in a world where everything seems to be dropping now, XRP still moving up above 60 cents. But let's go ahead and dive in here, T-Shroom. There is some red on the charts. Still a lot of ups and downs, but especially when we take a look at some of the top coins out there, we got to go in kind of deeper here to the 1 hour chart. As I said, Bitcoin, Ethereum, they're testing support levels we've talked about pretty heavily on the show. Let's actually go over to the 4 hour chart. The support levels we've been talking about is this smart trail right here on the 4 hour chart that I told you guys, hey, could we make it down here to 65, give or take, maybe even drop down into the 64 range? We could, and it does look like at the moment printing this bearish breaker block right now on the 4 hour chart. This smart trail probably will be tested, so I would not be surprised if Bitcoin corrects just a little bit more than where it currently is, but that's kind of what we're looking at right now. 1 hour chart, again, major support sitting down here starting at 65K, could go down to that 64.6. So again, That is something we're keeping an eye on. Support getting close to being very, very tested here for Bitcoin. This still remains, though, when you take a look at larger time frames. Yes, we had that bearish divergence in play, but this is a very bullish formation that's in play right now on the daily chart for Bitcoin. Let me turn off Lux Algo so you guys can see it here very quickly. These lower highs and lower lows in this formation eventually will break bullishly to the upside. There is going to be a very big move coming. Something we actually talked about the other day on the weekly chart is that the weekly chart Bollinger Bands still are extremely restricted. Guess where the support level actually is? We keep saying that I say that I don't think we're going to drop below like 63, 64 area. But technically speaking, our Bollinger Bands right now constricted to a tight range between 72 and 58. I know that doesn't seem like a tight range, but when you look at the volatility of where Bollinger Bands have been for Bitcoin on the weekly chart more recently, this is one of, not the tightest, but one of the tightest Bollinger Bands on the weekly chart we have seen. If you look at the last couple moves of this type of restriction, we're going back here to August, September of 2023. Massive move to the upside. We see constriction right in here in October of 2022, where we had the FTX collapse, so a quick move to the downside, and then boom, big move to the upside. Going back into history, you'll see this actually happens a lot before big moves, like back in October of 2018, before the last crash of that bear market. Long story short, as the title suggests, is price still a little volatile? Yes, it is. Guess what? That's the part of the prediction that we got 110% correct about this Ethereum ETF launch, is that crypto would be volatile. But big moves are coming. Be prepared. At this point, I'm still leaning towards that big move to the upside, but technically anything is still possible. Let's take a look at Ethereum. Same thing, weekly Bollinger Bands constriction, but let's take a look at smaller time frames, like the 4-hour chart. Now, on the 4-hour chart, we're sitting close to a strong level of support right now. We're actually already in the smart trail on the 4-hour chart. You're also going to notice going back over here on the 4-hour chart to July 16th and then on, this level of 33.75 has been very strong support. We did wick down within the last couple of minutes down to that level. Are we going to find support? Well, the other thing I didn't look at on Bitcoin, but we're going to start taking a look on some of these other coins that we do technical analysis on, is our oscillators are starting to drop here on the 4-hour chart, implying, yes, we could be going lower. But when you get to these lower time frames, we are starting to see the reversal signals come into play. We're getting the oversold flashes on the hourly RSI. We're getting the green reversals and super low oscillator on Lux Algo. Do we have bullish momentum or positive money flow? No. So that's why this is not a buy signal just yet. But we're also seeing the take profit suggestion from Lux Algo being touched. I would not be surprised to see things start to move to the upside. The other thing that I'm kind of walking away in the last little bit is that you're going to notice there's not necessarily a whole lot of volume within the last, again, I told you, it's been the last like 20, 30 minutes that we actually got a lot of bearish pullback, not 20, 30, let's get last hour. It's been a lot of bearish pullback. Take a look at volume right here on Ethereum. It's not necessarily that much volume whatsoever. You're going to see the same thing if we were to go to Solana, where there's actually a little bit more volume, but it's more intact with what we've seen. Again, nothing special in volume. You go to Chainlink, nothing special in volume. Cardano, nothing special. Actually, we just are now seeing, as Cardano's making a big bounce on the 5-minute, we are seeing volume come in. You know what that usually indicates? A bottom out signal. But my point still stands that during this dip, people are freaking out, but the reality is, there's nothing necessarily happening significant in the volume. What does this really imply? It means this isn't a strong push from the bears as much as it's an opportunity from the bulls. The bulls are not buying the current dips, so this allows the little bit of volume that's in the space, the more bearishness, to continue to push price to the downside. But it's not happening because of an overwhelming strength from the bears. No, there's no volume. It's happening because there are certain bulls who are allowing it. You know what we call these types of moves with low volume dips coming in? We call those bear traps. This is almost like going to the beach. I've used this analogy before. It's like when you're at the beach and the waves start to move out away from you. It leaves more sand open, and that does not mean that the ocean is disintegrating. It doesn't mean the water's going away. It's the tide being sucked out before a massive wave comes back and crashes. So once again, I'm looking at these things, and There's people in chat right now freaking out. But when I look at what we're doing on these intermediate time frames, like the 4 hour, 1 hour, hitting some major levels of support, when I'm looking at these lower time frames, I'm seeing pretty much no volume in the space showing strength either direction. This does lead me to believe right now we are watching a bear trap play out. Excuse me, as it is going. I'm gonna have to get some water here in a second, but we're seeing a bear out. Let me know in the comments, in the chat, what do you guys think? Are you guys taking advantage of these dips, or is this scaring you? Are you expecting a much bigger move to the downside? T-Shroom, we're going to go off the charts for a second. We're going to come back here in a little bit. I think that, though, wraps it up. A lot of the big ones. We looked at Bitcoin, looked at Ethereum, took quick looks at like Cardano and Solana. We can go more in depth during Q&A if that's what people want to do. But what is your perception right now as you're watching price action? What are your opinions?
Yeah, I think we're getting the pre-convention jitters here, and just generally, there's a lot going on in the market. Next week, there's an event that transcends the size of this event that we're about to have here this week in Nashville, and that would be the FOMC. Right, the FOMC has a chance to announce that they're going to cut rates. It's unlikely that they're going to cut rates in July, but they could hint toward cutting rates sooner than September, what the market is pricing in currently. So T-Shroom, why would the price be going down if there's potential for a cut? Well, because it's repricing to the downside so that they can buy low to be able to sell high in the event of the cut. Right? It's as simple as that. The other thing is that right now there's maybe not as much volume as people are making their way to the convention. That's a little bit of a harebrained theory, but to be honest with you. It's not exactly clear. This is a little bit surprising to see such a sell-off right here, kind of midday.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those things that people. I would caution people on becoming overwhelmingly too bullish or too bearish at the moment. Like I said, I think there's more evidence to be bullish that we move to the upside, but this is definitely a season or a time period right now to kind of watch how things play out. But I want to bring to your attention one more thing before we move away from the charts and get into some news. I was reached out to one of our members in VIP was asking me, Tim, what about all these bearish divergences that are coming into play right now? You're going to see them like on Bitcoin. Let me draw them for you just so you guys can see them very clearly. You're going to see this top right here. Higher high was put in on Bitcoin, right? Well, in the same time frame where we're looking at those highs of the oscillators, we set lower highs. This is bearish divergence. You're going to see the same thing kind of playing out here on Ethereum, where it wasn't necessarily extreme, but we definitely were setting higher highs on Ethereum. At the same time, we were setting lower highs with the oscillators. What do we do with this kind of information? There's actually a lot of charts saying this. Well, I want to bring and make sure people understand this is also happening. If you are bearish, if you're the type of person that looks at the cup half empty, all you will notice is those higher highs and lower highs being a divergence and should imply a pullback is happening. I want to make sure you guys understand when that happens, they usually pull back to the first level of support at least, unless it gets severe. In this case, we are working on and / being in this smart trail at the moment. But I want to bring to your attention something that if you were cup half full, you would be looking at right now. So we're going to see a little split on the charts. Yes, we see bearish divergence from the highs being diverged, but at the same time, we're seeing bullish divergence where we're still setting higher lows in the price action, but lower lows in our oscillators. This is bullish divergence. So what do you do with a chart where you see both bullish and bearish divergence? Do they cancel each other out? How do you know which one is the right one to read? Before I answer that, again, same thing happening here with Ethereum. We're actually setting flat bottoms in price action, but clearly lower oscillators. That's still a form of bullish divergence. Well, in this case, what you do when you see both bullish and bearish divergence, you have to ask your question, which way is the trend going? Is the trend in a bear trend or is the trend in a bull trend? Meaning, are we setting higher highs and higher lows as a whole with all these movements, or are we going to the downside? You stick with the trend. At this point, we're seeing a shift in the oscillators where they're redistributing what the power is going to look like. Yes, this is a level of hesitation. Yes, this is a level of potentially more sideways action. But ultimately, when you see this mixed bag, you stick with the trend. The trend is your friend until it ends. And right now, while there is both bullish and bearish divergence in play, I would take way more into account the more recent call and the continuation of the pattern of this uptrend and the fact that the last flash we got was not a bullish or bearish divergence. It actually was the bullish one. This is another reason to be still positive. You guys were looking at this and freaking out. I want to put your freak outs to ease. This is still a very bullish formation. Whether we break to the upside or downside is a different question. We could always break the trend and end up doing something different. Technical analysis is not about trying or the ability to be able to call movements perfectly. It's about tracking the historical patterns and psychology of traders to make the highest probability choice possible. And right now, whether I'm right or wrong, based off of classic technical analysis, there are millions of other people out there looking at the same chart saying the same thing as I am. This is a bullish pattern. And so for that reason, the probability is price should move to the upside. With that said, though, T-Shroom, let's talk about some news because we are now under day 2 of the Ethereum ETFs trading live. We hypothesized on the channel. We said, I think I said that I didn't think the price was baked in. I thought we were going to go to the upside. You said you thought the price was baked in. We're going to the downside. We didn't give enough credit to the most likely outcome in crypto, and that is the very boring sideways price action that's happening with everything in crypto. Now, we were right about the volatility. I just thought the volatility would choose a direction ultimately to go. And here we are, day number 2 of Ethereum ETF, and Ethereum hasn't quite decided, does it want to be overwhelmingly bullish or overwhelmingly bearish? What is happening with the volume, the money flow? What should people know about the news side of Ethereum's ETFs' impact on the crypto markets?
Absolutely. Well, to find out about that information, we turn to none other than one of Bloomberg's chief ETF analysts, Eric Bulkanis, who is not leaving us hanging here on Twitter. He never does. He always gives us the alpha. So the new 8 taking in $590 million on the first day is huge, more than I guessed. Now, Tim, this data means nothing without a comparison, so the natural question would be, well, what did Bitcoin do in its first day? The new 9 in the Bitcoin race did $720 million. Tim, that's pretty impressive. Ethereum was 83% of what Bitcoin did in the first day. And it needed to, Eric points out, because the ETH unlock was also bigger than he thought. Either way, good start life in the green at 106 million. So the overall net flow was 106 million. This was just the overall inflow, right? So not the net, the gross, and this was what it ended up netting on the day. So results positive, right? Really good that it ended in the green. That's very positive. And generally, it was able to overcome the biggest seller in the space, which you have to imagine is going to be that grayscale factor, right? And it's not grayscale themselves; it's their clients saying, "Hey, why am I holding grayscale that has a higher annual and in and out fee when I could just go into the shiny new BlackRock and Bitwise and VanEck and 21 Share, and there's a litany of them, I guess 9 of them, that have lower fees." Eric Bulkanis shines a little bit more light on that, but not without profanity. You'll see it here. Dropping the D word there, Eric. Shame. But he says, that's a lot.
Eric.
Yeah, come on. 5% of the fund, not sure the 8 newbies can offset with inflows at this magnitude. On the flip side, maybe it's for the best just to get it over with fast, like ripping off the Band-Aid. So, Tim, 5% of the Grayscale fund looks like it. Oh, and remember, this is on Ethereum, not Bitcoin. Flowed out of the Grayscale Ethereum ETF, which before yesterday, it was not trading live as a spot ETF for Ethereum. It was a futures contract, or at least non-spot for Ethereum. And so now that we're in a world where Ethereum spot ETFs are trading live, people are selling out of that Ethereum ETF. Is that because they have less faith in Ethereum? No, it's because there's higher fees in the Grayscale Ethereum ETF. So is Ethereum a better, a worse, or a stay the same investment? It's a stay the same investment. And I would say it's a better investment just out of the natural evolution of we now have an Ethereum spot ETF. So it's a buy. The market bought it to the tune of 107% net, and that's good. What are you thinking about this data here from Bloomberg's Eric Bulkanis?
Yeah. And we knew there was going to be a level of a switcheroo going on. Yes, there was going to be high demand and people wanting to buy this new ETF, and we knew that there were going to be several who wanted to sell their grayscale Ethereum futures as it transitioned to spot ETF. Ultimately, we have to watch how the rest of today plays out, but I want to make sure people understand, anyone who's predicting that Ethereum is going to copy what Bitcoin did to the T, we're not seeing that. We actually saw the volatility of Bitcoin's ETF bring much more volatility, and then on today, they're actually, if you guys remember, day 2 of the Bitcoin ETF, you go to my chart here, T-Shroom, we shot up to new highs. This is on January 11th. We shot up here to hit highs of 49,000 and then very quickly fell back down. And then tomorrow, then the day 3, big drop to the downside. Actually, correct me. Let's rephrase this, T-Shroom. I got this wrong. We aren't on the same boat as ever because that's what it was, is day 1 was January 11th. I mixed my dates up. January 11th was day 1 of Bitcoin trading. It was January 11th. Let me scoot in here a little more. Massive volume, first of all, coming in here, guys. Massive volume coming in here. Shot up to new highs for the bull market. Then the very next day dropped dramatically. This is not what we're seeing necessarily Ethereum do. So anyone who's saying we have to copy this exactly, I don't think we necessarily do. I want to make sure I address Osama's in here again. Love Osama being in here. I'm going to go on a limb and say Usama is major team T-Shroom. We got to get some T-shirts involved. T-Shroom and I don't disagree often, but when we do, you guys seem to choose sides, and that's actually pretty hilarious. Usama asked the question, am I ready to admit that I was wrong, T-Shroom was right, and the price of Ethereum was baked in for the ETF? And the answer, Usama, is still no, because we aren't doing anything necessarily that crazy. We didn't repeat what Bitcoin did. We ultimately, the fact that we have held up at these levels despite the major grayscale sell-offs is a testament to the high demand that Ethereum has coming in. And like I said, the only place we fell to when we come down these lower time frames is, again, major levels of support here on the 4-hour chart that I predicted the volatility could bring us down into. I'm willing. I want to make sure Osama understands. I want to make sure T-Shroom understands. I want to make sure everyone understands. I'm not right about everything. If I ever come across or act like I'm always right, I apologize. Ask my wife. I'm wrong all the time.
Bruh.
When I am wrong, and if this case I end up being wrong, I will be the first one to tell you, yep, messed that one up, guys. T-Shroom, you were right. We are not at the place where what I predicted would happen was wrong. Did I think maybe we could go a little higher faster? Yes, but I understood that this was a long game of volatility. And the minute you think you have this market figured out to a T, it's going to flip on you and go the opposite direction. So actually watching the price move down more than up right now, again, still sideways, but being back down at support actually makes me extremely bullish that I will be right, that Ethereum has not yet been, the Ethereum ETF was not factored into price. If it was, we'd be dropping much more dramatically than we currently are now that we are in day 2. I'm willing to let this stretch into day 3. If we come back tomorrow and Ethereum is sitting down at 3,200 or 3,300 or 33,000, 3,300 was my support level, then I will, as a man, say I was wrong on this issue and T-Shroom was right. I want to make sure people understand that. But at this point, no, I'm not wrong yet, and I'm not admitting that it was baked in because this isn't the evidence that it was baked in.
I love it. And let us know in the chat. What do you think? Do you think that it was baked in? Sideways action kind of seems to indicate, that could be interpreted as being baked in. But I do think that the volatility is throwing it for a loop here. Tim, we've got some more stories here. They're fun.
Yeah.
They're stimulating. They're interesting. Let's get into them. Tomorrow is the start of the Bitcoin conference up in Nashville, Tennessee. And there are some fun sizzle headlines coming out. Let's get into them here. Ferrari, vroom vroom, to accept Bitcoin and Ethereum payments in Europe. I think they already accept them in other places, and now they're accepting them in the great continent of Europe. Let us know. Are you watching or listening here from Europe, and what country, what city are you watching from as well? And do you own a Ferrari, and would you be willing to donate that Ferrari to the Investing Bros, and we'll get it wrapped? That'd be kind of cool.
We'll put your name on it.
So, Tim, You were thinking about buying your third Ferrari. Are you going to go to
Yes.
Europe now to purchase that Ferrari?
No, on a more serious note, I want to make sure you understand this means nothing. I would be surprised if Ferrari sold. There might be like 2 or 3 people that are like, hey, I have like 50 Bitcoin. I could go buy a Ferrari with like 2 of them, 3 of them. I don't. What's the running price of a Ferrari? I have no idea. It's been so long
I don't
since I
know.
bought my last one. I'm out of touch with the market.
I would buy a
Uh,
Cybertruck.
yeah. Anyway, so my point is, this is not going to bring massive adoption. It is a marketing campaign. Let me tell you guys that's all this is. Ferrari just wants to market themselves to Bitcoin holders. No true Bitcoin holder, no intelligent Bitcoin holder is going to go and exchange one of the most valuable asset right now on the planet moving forward over the next, 20, 30, 50 years. No one's actually going to buy with Bitcoin, but I guarantee you there's going to be people who own a lot of Bitcoin who say, oh, you know what? I was thinking about getting a new car. Maybe go try out Ferrari. They seem to support Bitcoin now. And they're going to pay their very worthless fiat currency and stack more Satoshis while they do it. But I give credit to Ferrari. Good marketing campaign. And this definitely is another step, I will say, in the longer term of just making people more comfortable with holding more Bitcoin. The more things you can purchase in life with Bitcoin, if you can purchase houses and real estate and cars and other assets, you would be more likely and willing to hold more Bitcoin long term rather than having to keep everything in cash. So, will a lot of Bitcoin be purchasing Ferraris? No. But is this a good marketing campaign and another form of adoption for Bitcoin that still pushes the whole ecosystem forward? Yes, it is. Would you disagree with that, T-Shirt? Do you think there's a lot of people buying Ferraris with Bitcoin
Tim,
now?
there is no way that I could disagree with that. You know why? Because we have said Ferrari 30 times on this very episode of Investing Bros. This will be seen by thousands of people, and it will be liked by even more. Right now, smash the like button. And they're going to hear the Investing Bros, the coolest guys on the block. Just kidding. We're not the coolest guys on the block. Talking about Ferrari. And,
I think it depends on the block. We might be the coolest kids in some block.
Maybe here in Atlanta, we might be the coolest kids on the block. But overall, it gets even more sizzly, Tim. Can you imagine something more sizzly than Ferrari? You would have to go to Las Vegas to find it. It is the Sphere. The Sphere has been illuminated with the branding of your favorite crypto, Bitcoin. Just look at it in its splendor and its glory.
That's
Tim,
beautiful.
Something that is so projected in such magnificence. Why would you ever exchange this for a depreciating asset such as a sports car? I don't know, but I'm sure that some people will do that. But there it is. That's what if you were in Las Vegas recently, this is likely what you saw. And I believe this was a commercial for Crypto.com, just to give them their creds, because I think this is very expensive to get projected.
I would have to imagine it is. Yeah, that probably cost a good amount of Bitcoins to get that on there.
Yeah, so that's another fun headline, another fun one.
Fun.
I don't know about this one. This one I could go either way, and that is that Cackling Kamala. What did we say? Unburdened.
It's Miss Unburdened. President Unburdened.
President Unburdened will not be attending or speaking.
Yeah.
So her voice will not be heard at the 2024 Bitcoin conference. Tim, is this for better or for worse?
Here's what I'll say. I think for better. I even think for President Unburdened, this is for better. We actually, before this news broke, we were discussing, as I was picking up T-Shroom from the airport, we were discussing the fact that this would not be a good move for her because, A, it's very clear, and crypto people have been paying attention to the whole election process very clearly. They know that she is not necessarily that well equipped to talk about Bitcoin whatsoever. She literally, probably for political reasons, has only recently even said that she was in support of it. So I think the probability as Orange Man enters stage, I'm going to make a prediction here, Tisha. I'm going to see if I'm going to be right. I predict that when Orange Man takes the stage, just knowing the nature of crypto investors, there will be a roaring applause. I believe when RFK takes the stage, knowing crypto investors, there will be a roaring applause. And those are two men that disagree. They're not sitting on the same side, but they've earned their respect in the crypto space and earned their admiration. I don't think that President Unburdened would have done that. I think I would have predicted that she would have got probably a lot of boos if she had gone. I don't think the right move for her is appearing at this conference. If she wants to prove to the voters that she is pro crypto and is going to be a good president for crypto holders, she's got to do it the good old fashioned way. She got to roll up her sleeves and do some hard work and talk about it in places where she won't get booed. But maybe she says some things that people like and some crypto voters are swayed. I'm not ruling that out as a possibility. We've said this on the channel before. I know a lot of you don't like when we talk politics. Unfortunately, whether you like politics or not, politics, or a better way to put it, whether you care about politics or not, politics care about you. And to be responsible to help you guys understand what's happening in the news that affects your crypto investments, we have to talk about politics. With that said, whoever you decide you want to vote for, whether you vote for Orange Man or President Unburdened, which we're saying this and we're not even sure she's the candidate, or whether you vote for RFK or anybody else, that is between you and the voting booth. And if you told me who you voted for and I disagreed with you, I would still say that I respect your opinion and your freedom to vocalize who you think the best leader of the country should be. So please don't try to break this down as the investing bros are pushing one candidate over the other. We are observational. And observationally, the crypto space seems to prefer Orange Man to President Unburdened.
Yeah.
That's just kind of facts at this point.
Tim, 1 out of 100%. What do you think the likelihood is?
I like that. I like the phrasing of this question.
1 to 100. I'm sorry. 1 to 100%. On a scale of 1 to 100, what do you think? What do you think the likelihood?
Restart the question. Let's start from the beginning. All right, T-Shum, you had a question for me?
I forget the scale. What do you think the percentage likelihood is that that President Unburdened has been building in the bear market, and she's really a hyper sophisticated crypto operator? She's actually, one of the anonymous developers of a major blockchain. What do you think the chances are that a former DA of California, I mean, that's a tough job, right? You got to be somewhat smart to do that. Do you think, what do you think the percentage chance is that she's actually very, very Web3 native?
Yeah. About 0%, I would say.
0%. Okay.
0%. No, I don't think that she's been involved whatsoever. There would be no reason for her to have hit it up to this point. That'd be the greatest whodunit if that was the case. Let's give it, for the sake of that, just for the sake of the funness of that being the truth, let's call it 0.01%, right? So not 0.1, not 1%, not 0.1%, 0.01% chance that she secretly has been the person who orange pilled Michael Saylor the whole time. I'll give it a 0.01% chance.
I think that's not what I asked. I think that ultimately, it's
I know, but
0%
I went
chance.
further with it.
Anybody rubbing shoulders with anybody who's ever been in Washington, or you could say that, and professionally, officially, or anybody who's rubbed shoulders with one of the best traders of the classical era, Nancy Pelosi, you can't rule out that they know how to invest, whether above board or not. I wouldn't put it past anybody in Washington to at least get a tip to buy a coin. That doesn't mean she understands crypto and the potential for it, but I think there's a lot in Washington who don't, but soon will, and it's certainly true for Nashville. There's a lot of people that are going to be knowing a lot about crypto there. We're about to go spend a lot of time with them. Let us know, by the way, in Discord. Jump into Discord. Let us know any questions you have for specific people. We'll try to ask them while we're there in Nashville. We're going to be seeing some pretty hard hitters. We've named a lot of them, but Big Michael Saylor will be there. One that kind of has gotten swept under the rug, but I'm actually a really big fan, is Russell Brand. Russell Brand's going to be there. It'd be cool to shake
I know.
his hand.
Yeah, I'm excited about his as well.
Yeah.
Very excited about his. Yeah. Well, let's do this, T-Shirt. Any more news to wrap up the show, or can we get into some Q&A for about 10 minutes, and then we'll end again here about 3:45?
All I have is just tabs to buying Ferraris in Germany. So good. That's all I have up right now. There's no more news.
Keep those up. Those are essential. We need to have those ready for any moment. In fact, as we do Q&A, I'm expecting at least 6 Ferrari B-roll flashes throughout the rest of the show. Every single time that T-Shroom flashes a Ferrari, you guys have to smash the like button again with a brand new YouTube account you just created. Guys, look at the likes up. Where are we sitting at today? We're already at, I didn't refresh the page, it says 9 likes, which is pretty egregious. 180. We got 400. We have 500 people in here watching, and we have 180 likes. Guys, get us to 250 at the least. Just half the viewership. Half of you can click the like button. Click that right now. Let's do some Q&A while I wait for people to kind of drop what they want to see. Yesterday, someone did ask as we were wrapping the show up, and we didn't get to talk about it. They asked for AVAX, update on AVAX. It's been a couple of days, I think, since we talked about AVAX. Keep your eyes on the chat, see if you see other questions. But T-Shroom, I didn't want to interrupt you there. Did you have a thought?
Yeah, let's jump on the AVAX charts, do a little analysis there. We do have a factoid of the day, and we can get to that as well.
All right, we're going to do AVAX, factoid of the day, back to Q&A. I see render. I've seen multiple people ask about render, so we will do a little bit of render.
We do have a super chat as well.
Okay.
Two super chats.
All right. Well, okay, you know what? Super chats take priority. Pause the structure. Super chats, then AVAX, then factoid, then render. And that probably is going to wrap up.
And that was the plan the whole time. Robert Baker, donating $2 American, said, I want to buy Forever token. Any advice? Tim?
Don't buy it.
Don't buy it.
Sounds like a shell.
Yeah. Maybe not, but
I'm not buying it.
Polkadot going to $100 to $160 this bull run. What do you think about that, Tim?
Polkadot to $100. I can't remember the level I gave. I made a price prediction on that one, but they all run together. No, Polkadot is not going to make it to $100. It might start to sniff it. I can't remember what my video said. I'll have to go back and check it out. Let me click on that dot chart for a second. Did I have it up here still? I did. Okay. Oh, you know what? I remember what I did here. This is what I said for Polkadot. I said 80 to 100 was my reasonable goal, so they must have been saying about me. So again, I made this video a while ago. I made a case for a potential 160, but I do believe in the video I said that that's not necessarily going to happen. I didn't think it was going to happen, but in a world where Polkadot picks up a lot of momentum, that could. I think, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure in the video I made the case for between $80 to $100 being my expected outcome for Polkadot. Some people are going to say that's a little high. Here's the thing about Polkadot. I want to make sure people understand. I like Polkadot. I'm holding Polkadot. I think Polkadot is an amazing tool, but it is pretty highly ranked already. It's a top 15 coin. It isn't the flashiest coin in this bull market. And just because a coin doesn't perform to its top potential in this bull market does not mean it can't still be valuable down the road. I'm just not expecting Polkadot to be one of the coins when we look back and we're talking about the bull market to be one of the top movers. That being said, I still think a 15x is in the cards. That's why I think somewhere between $80 to $100 reasonable. When you get over 100, you're starting to get into the unreasonable. Like there's a possibility, yes, but you're getting a little unreasonable for that purpose. Let's go ahead and keep going. I want to read this one. I want to read this one in chat. And again, we'll do the TA. I won. I've seen you in here before. Love you being in here. Said, I agreed, not professional to ask for likes. 1 or 2 reminders are plenty. Keep it moving. 30 minutes max video would likely help in my opinion. Hey, listen, thank you for the feedback. Honestly, thank you for the feedback. Here's what I will say. Studies have shown that people don't smash like buttons unless they hear the reminder. Also, in case you're wondering, YouTube's algorithm, when they see the likes getting smashed, it makes them push that video further out. If people don't smash likes, YouTube's sitting here saying, it seems like a lot of people watched that video, but no one liked it. This content must not be very good. Here's the thing. If you don't want to smash the like button, you don't have to smash the like button. I don't want to peer pressure anyone into smashing the like button. But if you enjoy what T-Shoe and I do for you guys every single day, it's a free press of your index finger on the left clicker on your mouse. It really doesn't burn any calories in your body. It's free for the price of free, and it helps the channel grow. So is it maybe unprofessional? I don't know. I feel like every YouTuber does it. But if it does, that's a fine opinion. Just help us out and smash the like button. If we start hitting massive likes and we don't even say anything, we will never mention the like button ever again. But just guys, everybody, if you want to see the channel grow, smash the like button. It's the least you can do. All right, let's do some AVAX TA and then our factoid of the day. Big thing about AVAX, very, very bullish here on AVAX. Once we share my screen, there we go, boom. Falling wedge pattern still is very far from playing out to its full potential. We're talking about a big move here for AVAX, possibly in September to come back up here to $50. And then, I'll have to make a video about where I think it ends the year, where it ends 2024. I now have predicted where I think Solana is going to be. I predicted where Ethereum is going to be. Go back and watch our last 2 videos on the channel, the shorter videos for anyone who likes shorter videos. But AVAX, I'll definitely have to do that one. That being said, let's take a look at what we're looking at more recently. We did see it kind of do some things we predicted would happen the last time I talked about it. I looked at this bearish breaker block and the bearish smart trail and said, hey, don't be surprised if $30 or $32 ends up being some short-term resistance. Go back and watch shows from 2 weeks ago. I talk about this level being something to keep an eye on. But I'm still extremely very bullish. And even as we're talking about the other coins right now, we're looking at it bouncing off here a couple days ago, or yesterday, we bounced off our take profit sell order. We're hitting the smart trail. If I start to pull up the oscillators, we're getting those bottoming signals back into play that look like we absolutely want to climb. For example, the hourly chart printed a buy order here yesterday, and we're still seeing extremely positive money flow. I think this is just a small correction with, again, low volume that is allowing the price to come back down so that the long-term whales and holders can buy cheap. AVAX once again. In fact, if you're looking for a good buy spot, I think right now is actually pretty good as we are testing that 1 hour smart trail. We're back up here in the last hour, but this is a very strong level of support here as well. On the short time frames, it's looking bullish. On the large time frames, it's looking bullish. I'm very bullish on the entire crypto space, but AVAX is one, I think. Big gains coming. This, by the way, a trade, let's just say we enter this trade right here. We're looking at a 73% rally if my price prediction of $50 comes true by September. So there is your AVAX update. T-Shroom, let's get into our factoid of the day, and then we'll do some render. We're going to run a little bit past 3:45. So, guys, we're going to be late to Nashville. It's because we love to make your guys' content for you. Let's get our factoid of the day here, T-Shroom.
All right, Tim. Today's factoid of the day is brought to you all by CoinW. If you're looking for an excellent trading platform, check out our sponsor, CoinW, and you can actually get a free $100. Tim, Nashville, oh, that's a chart. Nashville was named after Francis Nash, a general during which of these American wars? Was it A, the U.S. Civil War, B, the War of 1812, C, the Revolutionary War, or D, the Spanish-American War?
I can only see A and B.
And that's all you're going to see. No, I'm just kidding. There you go.
Good question. I don't think it's D. The Spanish-American War, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think had any, there might have been people from Tennessee that went, but I don't think it, I would imagine this is something that happened during the war. That being said, I don't know how much of the Revolutionary War made it into Tennessee, let alone the far west part of it, way over in Nashville. So that really leaves me with the U.S. Civil War and the War of 1812. And the fact that we studied the Civil War a lot growing up, and this is not ringing a bell, Francis Nash. So I'm going to go with B, the War of 1812. Final answer.
He's locking it in, folks. I don't see a lot of answers in this. Not a lot of
French
American.
Toast says A.
Not a lot of American history buffs tuning in today. That's okay. Let's find out what the answer is here. Francis Nash, the Revolutionary War. So Tim,
did a battle happen all the way over there? I didn't think it made it that far west.
Well, I don't know that there was a battle there. I think they just named the city after him. Named for Francis Nash, a general in the Continental Army during the American Revolutionary War. The city was founded in 1779 when the territory was still considered part of North Carolina. Francis Nash, a brigadier general in the Continental Army. Prior to the war, he was a lawyer, public official, and politician in Hillsborough, North Carolina. So there you go. Yeah, unlikely that there was a battle all the way that west. Could have been, but I think more than likely they just were naming stuff after people, and they were running out of names, and they were like, well, hey, this guy was pretty sick, so let's name it after him. I'm sure he was a lot better than sick. I'm being a little bit disrespectful. I shouldn't say that, but anyway.
I did a lot of studying history, but I'd never heard that before. So I learned something today in our factoid of the day historically. Robert Nash.
That's right.
Good stuff.
Cool.
Good stuff. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at what's happening with render. Now,
let's do it.
My old chart got obliterated. I don't know
Uh-oh.
why. Render on Binance got obliterated. Do you know why? I guess I didn't pay attention. Binance didn't delist it, did they? Missed
I
that one.
think I think render. You may have been looking at the Ethereum for render
Maybe.
rather than the
Maybe.
yeah.
Same price action, but yeah, the chart that I was using got obliterated here. So we're gonna have to start from scratch here. There's a couple things going on with the render chart that you could take a look at. One of them would be it definitely looks like we have a little bit of a falling channel in play, with the exception of this wick. Now we did fall to a serious level of support we hit back in March of 2024, but this is actually a pretty strong level that we could actually see render with some of the greater potential to the upside, which a lot of other altcoins getting close to, if not already breaking their major level of resistance. This one, we got a ways to go to the upside before we actually hit the bullish breakout of this descending channel. Let's take a look at what our oscillators indicators are saying. Again, good rejection here. I think we would have said this as well, just like with AVAX. We would have talked about this level of rejection with that smart trail and the bearish breaker block here around 722 being in play. We're now back down to a bullish order block. Let's check out what lower time frames are doing, because that's going to give us a lot more information. A lot of order blocks here in play. At the moment, could it become lower and could we come down here towards 545? We could and touch that support level again. But let's check out what our oscillators are looking like right now. Bullish, I mean, for the most part, we're definitely flashing oversold. We need to get some positive money flow back in play here. It's not necessarily as bullish as other charts that we're looking at, but absolutely still saying that there's reason to be more bullish. And I'll kind of finish. Let's go back out to the weekly chart. And yeah, bullish signal coming in here on the weekly chart. Something the last time we got this bullish signal, this green momentum dot, the last time we got it was way back here. This dip in September of 2023. The last time before that we got it was right here. This one here is January 2023, big rally. One before that, right here, October 22nd, big rally. And back here, June 22nd, big rally. So, seeing that signal just now flashing on the weekly chart should give you some optimism about what render can do. But it's only Wednesday. So could we dip a little bit lower and come down here to 550, give or take? Let's just kind of round it, $5.50. Yeah, we could. But the overwhelming longer term charts on render say upside coming. It's the shorter time frames that just are saying maybe not yet. So keep your eye on a good render open.
Yep. And Tim,
but my guess is the next week or so is the right time to be getting in.
Yep. And Tim, for those, we had a pop a little chatter in the chat there, letting us know what was going on here. Render, the RNDR token, is undergoing a rebranding process on Binance. It's
Makes
not
sense.
being delisted permanently, but swapped and rebranded to Render, RENDER.
It's adding in the E's. Yeah, it's adding the E's instead of just being RNDR.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Cool.
So there you go.
El Thoro makes a good point. AI sector is a little cooling off as well, right? Yeah, it's cooling off. It had a nice big move early. I talked about this the other day. Am I gonna be as confident about the AI sector as I am maybe a sector like real world assets? No. If you told me, Tim, you could only choose one asset class to go after, I am choosing real world assets moving forward above AI easily. With that said, I still think AI has room to the upside. I still think there's more hype that can come in. But I also think the ones that are going to get the majority of the attention are going to be the NEARs, the renders, the ASIs, the ones that have actually really already started to build working tools. The AIs that I think you should be very careful about and that possibly will not see a big move to the upside are the ones that actually, when you do your research, have no product. They're not actually accomplishing anything. To this point, they were just raising funding and attention so that they could start building their product. I do think AI has a future to the upside in this bull market, but don't expect a coin just because it says it's an AI token to be bullish if they're not actually working on anything behind the scenes. I do think the cream is going to rise to the top. Only select AI tokens that are solid and have a good relationship with NVIDIA are going to do well. And those three I just mentioned, NEAR, Render, and ASI, do fit the bill. I think there's still a lot of upside for those. I'll have to tell you if there's specific ones I don't like. At this point, I'm not thinking of any, but I'll tell you if I find them.
Yeah, and I would just add, it doesn't have to have a relationship with NVIDIA at all, but that definitely is going to be
that's just a plus.
It's going to be a huge boost. Yeah, I don't think there's a huge relationship with BitTensor, and I think BitTensor Tau will do well. But yeah.
All right. Well, as we close it out, I want to read one more chat. Drew P saying, no one is buying. Now it's just annoying people. Here's what I will tell you guys. There's a lot of you probably feeling that way. You're probably watching prices come down. Bitcoin, while we were live, went back up over 66, is now back down to 65.8. Is this frustrating? Yes, it's frustrating. Is there a pit in your stomach saying, oh, I want to be bullish, but nothing's going to the upside? Let me tell you, in my years of investing in crypto, a lot of times when your stomach is hurting because you think that everything's about to get very bad, that is the time and the opportunity for everything to go to the upside. These are the moments that make millionaires. If you wait for everything to be rosy and dandy, if you wait for all of the confirmations to come into play before you purchase any crypto, you might still get some gains, but you're going to miss out on some massive potential. That's why we so badly want to stress to you guys, don't try to buy and sell perfect spots, but look for good levels of support and resistance. Remove emotion from the equation. Remove public opinion from the equation. Make sure you understand where it's a good price, where there's a weak price, and that's your key to when to buy and when to sell. And right now, this is a good price, ladies and gentlemen. And the fact that most people are uncomfortable and hating that we're not rallying immediately is even better for that long-term price. That's what makes the whales and institutions think that this is their right time to buy. So learn to embrace that feeling. Be patient, ladies and gentlemen. The bull market is still with us. It's got a long way to the upside. Stay around. Make sure you smash the like on your way out. Hit subscribe to not miss a single piece of content we put out. We will see you guys from Nashville tomorrow. But before then, you guys have a great day. Adios.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor, the TA. Shouted out loud on the PA. T-Shrooms News got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros.